Hey, so this might be kind of a strange New Year's Day post, but I want to talk about a conversation I had recently. I was talking with someone about suicidal ideation. We both admitted to each other that we've had suicidal thoughts. I think most people probably have, especially around the holidays. I told this person that I would never act on these thoughts, but sometimes they play like background noise when I'm really hurting. I would never make a plan to end my life, but I've had those burning thoughts like, why am I still alive? These thoughts typically don't linger long enough anymore to view them as a threat. Even so, I know they're not from God and could lead to darker thoughts or actions if left unchecked. Talking with this person made me feel like I wasn't the only one, and I'm sure they felt the same way. I don't want Christians or anyone to shame themselves or feel shamed by others for having these kinds of thoughts. We're all human and we all know how hard life is. I don't beat myself up when these thoughts make an appearance because I've had them since my 20s and I've grown to recognize what they are. They have no power over me unless I give them power. I can remember vividly the last time my thoughts took me down this dark road. I was so emotionally raw and vulnerable that day, and something happened that felt like a knife in the soul. I truly wasn't sure if I could go on. So I isolated myself, and the darkness just took over. It got bad enough that I reached out to someone I trusted to talk about it, and they prayed for me. The darkness immediately lifted after that. What I've come to realize is that I don't really want to die, but my brain still has some faulty wiring from past trauma that hasn't completely healed yet. God is slowly rewiring and reteaching my brain over time to react differently, but this process takes time. Sometimes there's no other way for my unresolved grief and trauma to express itself when it gets triggered. I believe these types of thoughts, for me anyway, are part of the uncomfortable process of growing and healing into the new creation in Christ. You can't just put on the new self like you put on a coat. I believe when you're born again, you immediately are the new creation, but you also have to learn how to become the new creation. Both are true at the same time. Not all suicidal ideation is demonic necessarily, but it certainly is demonic if we let it speak louder than God and allow it to influence us to depart from biblical truth and harm ourselves. If you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, please pay close attention to how they affect you. If you encounter them once in a while and they pass relatively quickly, I think that's pretty normal, but stay vigilant. If you are actively making a plan or even thinking about making a plan to end your life, please seek help. Start with letting go of whatever guilt or shame you feel when these thoughts creep in. Your feelings are valid and real. Please allow yourself the space to process your intense emotions before they grow into suicidal ideation. You will never get past what you're going through if you don't look your feelings in the eye and deal with them in a healthy way. Find someone you trust and tell them what's going on. Ask for support and prayer. Don't hold it inside. Like the saying goes, you're only as sick as your secrets. Remember that you're not alone. Here's a list of people in the Bible who grew weary of life and contemplated death. Rebekah, Genesis 27:46. Then Rebekah said to Isaac, I'm disgusted with living because of these Hittite women. If Jacob takes a wife from among the women of this land, my life will not be worth living. Elijah, 1 Kings 19:4. And he prayed that he might die and said, It is enough. Now, Lord, take my life, for I am no better than my fathers. Job 3:11. Why did I not die at birth? Why did I not perish when I came from the womb? Job 3:20-22. Why is light given to those in misery and life to the bitter of soul? To those who long for death that does not come, who search for it more than hidden treasure, who are filled with gladness and rejoice when they reach the grave. Jonah 4:3. Now, Lord, take away my life, for it is better for me to die than to live. Paul, 2 Corinthians 1:8-9. We were under great pressure, far beyond our ability to endure, so that we despaired of life itself. Indeed, we felt that we had received the sentence of death. But this happened that we might not rely on ourselves, but on God who raises the dead. It's the first day of the new year. Today is an opportunity to start taking baby steps in a healthier direction. Never make unrealistic goals for yourself. Start with what you know you can do. I would encourage you, no matter what you're going through, to start learning how to anchor your purpose and your worth in Jesus. Your thoughts and feelings are inevitably going to crash against your boat in a storm, but if you learn how to anchor yourself in truth, you will not be shipwrecked and destroyed by them. I would also encourage you to start learning biblically how to value yourself as Christ values you. This is the hardest thing for me personally as a Christian to do. I know it's really hard to see yourself as God sees you when you believe all the lies that your traumatized brain is telling you. I think a really solid answer is tucked away in the verse we just read in 2 Corinthians 1:8-9. When dark thoughts awaken, we should learn, emphasis on the word learn, how to emulate Paul, who connects depression and suicidal ideation to our desperate need for dependence on God. When we rely on ourselves for deliverance, love, success, provision, and happiness, the pressure becomes insurmountable. We weren't created to carry those cumbersome earthly loads alone. Trusting God wholeheartedly with all the heavy burdens of life is the only way to vanquish the darkness when it comes like a thief in the night. It is a liar, gaslighter, abuser, and thief. Resist. My heart goes out to anyone who may be silently suffering with suicidal thoughts today. I get it. Please remember that you are fearfully and wonderfully made by a God who knew you and chose you before you even existed. God sent his son Jesus to suffer and die in our place so that we could be forgiven, redeemed, healed, restored, and made alive with Christ forever. God is in control of his universe, and nothing is impossible for him, not even your deepest, darkest suffering. Please stop agreeing with the accusations of the enemy that play relentlessly in your mind and start believing the life-changing, life-giving promises of God. Surrender your burden to Jesus, who has the power to renew your mind and restore your heart to new life. This is a new year and a fresh opportunity to reset and try again. Make this the year that you expose the lies in your mind and start taking baby steps toward change. Reach out, talk about it, seek the Lord. You're going to be okay. It will get better. You have people who love you and people who need you. And even if that's not true and you have no one, you have a God who woke you up this morning and has a purpose for your life. Please believe that. I love you, and you got this.